Welcome to this bonus episode of This May Be a Bad Idea. This podcast, it's a conversation on bravery. It tells the story of everyday people who faced what felt like the impossible and still bravely leaped into the unknown. I'm your host, Nicole Butts. As I continue to close out Women's History Month, this is bonus episode number 2 of the Made by Her event series. Day 2 of this journey is all about baked goods, my favorites. I hope you enjoy listening to this conversation as much as I enjoyed having it. Hello, I'm here with my second guest on the first on-site This May Be a Bad Idea podcast. And my guest today, right now, in this moment, is Marris. And Marris is with us from, say the name of your company again.
Matelna Bakes.
Matelna Bakes. And this is a venture that she is doing with her siblings. How awesome is that? Anywho, thank you so much for being very brave and agreeing to speak with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. I love meeting people, so this is like totally my shtick. So as we were talking about before, this is really a conversation on bravery. So what we talk about on this podcast is how do people push past the really hard things to create the future they want for themselves and their families and their communities. How do we find joy? How do we take our joy from the things that we do?
Mhm.
And how do we really just take that leap of faith to move forward in our lives and to do the things that probably seemed pretty impossible or improbable at some point for us, right?
Yeah.
So that is what we're talking about today.
Sounds
so tell me a little bit about yourself. 60 seconds.
Okay.
Go.
So my name is Marris. I'm the co-owner of Matelna Bakes, which is a small bakery in the DMV area. I work with my sister, Melissa. So we started in 2020, and this was when COVID just hit, but really our dad got diagnosed with cancer. So that's kind of how we started the business. We were taking care of him full time in the midst of COVID, and we were we both didn't have jobs. So we were like, okay, let's see how this baking thing goes and see if we can make some money because we've always baked growing up with our mom. So it was a big passion of ours. So we're like, let's see if we can make this work and bring in some extra income to support our family. And then it kind of just took off from there off of some Instagram orders. And now we're 6 years later into where we are now. So 6 years? Yeah, we started in 2020.
That is so awesome.
Thank you.
That's so amazing.
Thank you.
So sometimes things happen that necessitate thinking outside of the box and then necessitate us to move forward in a way that is a less traditional path. COVID, closure of USAID. But it's amazing that sometimes when we get pushed outside of that comfort zone, what magically can happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you're still here 6 years later.
It's been a hard 6 years, girl. But we're here.
I'm sure. It's been a hard 6 years. Like, life just isn't easy as an adult, just period. So doing something along these lines, like, and doing it with your sibling, because doing things with siblings, it's different.
It's hard. It's hard. We are close, but sometimes we're not.
Or sometimes you're just too close. Sometimes they're just like, oh, yo.
All right. You need to go home. You need to go home.
Definitely. So with that, what I'm going to say, so in doing this, and you just alluded to the fact that it's been a bit challenging. What has been like the biggest thing? What has been that thing that you've had to push through, that barrier that you just almost felt impossible to overcome, but you bravely stepped through it?
I would say a couple of things. So in the beginning, it was definitely the death of our dad, for sure. That took like a huge hit on me personally and just my entire family. Because we lost him in such a short time period, and I'm gonna cry. So we started because of him. So to lose him And I was so young, I was only 22. To lose him in that time, it was a hard thing for me to have to go through. And then still try to push through the business because it was successful, but then to go through something so traumatic, I had to take a break. I was like, this is going well, but I have to do what's best for me, take care of my mental health. So I took a break for quite some time. I think it was like 6 or 7 months before coming back into the business. And then I did work. I was in the medical field. So Matelna Bakes was part-time at first. So I think going through that and then finding it in myself to like face my traumas and face that like really dark time, to come back into it and back to what I love, which was baking, that was a big challenge. But nonetheless, I'm happy. I'm happy that we chose to do that because I know that my dad is so proud and I know that this is what he would want for us because he was so happy when we started it. He was our biggest supporter. So I'm happy that we decided to, push through that and not let that traumatic experience like end our journey. And I would say now the biggest challenge for me is the comparison. Like I compare myself a lot to other people and other businesses. That I would say right now is my biggest challenge. It's like trying not to compare where other people are in their small business journey and then feeling like I'm not doing enough or feel like am I not at the place that they're at. So just having that self-confidence and always reminding myself like we're exactly where we're supposed to be. And everyone's journey is different and you also don't know what people have been through to get to where they are. So just being proud of where we are in the moment is really, I think, my biggest challenge.
And that's being content and okay where you are. That is the hardest part. That it's always easy to compare. And especially today when you go on Instagram, you go on TikTok, everyone's life looks perfect. Everything is just very well manicured and presented. And it's easy to forget that the presentation of most of those apparent lives are hours and days in the making and the creation of that content. You just think that everyone has all those things. And having social media that we all are just constantly on, like since starting, I kind of gave up on social media because I was like, I can't, like I for my own like confidence, my own mental health, I took several steps back. And and in that, like, coming back to it because my friends are like, Nicole, your podcast is great, but you might need to like promote it a little bit. Like giving us a text is great, but you need to like post things.
In this like era, you need to have social media.
So yeah, it's so hard to maintain perspective. And that's what's important because as a creator, it's always going to seem like somebody is doing something better than you or they have more than you, but it comes to continuing to walk in faith and in hope that everything is going to be okay. And also understanding that this is not a linear path for us.
Yeah.
So like you were saying, your father passed away and you tried to push through, but then you realized for yourself and to be the version of yourself you wanted to be in the future, you needed to step back.
Yeah, exactly.
And that had to be terrifying. And that in of itself was incredibly brave because so many people would have just like kept pushing. They'd be like, no, it'll be fine. I would have been like, it's fine. I'm just going to throw myself into this. Yeah. And then later you're like, oh, I'm not fine. Everything is not okay, people. So in that, it's realizing, what does this look like? What does bravery to you look like? And I think that you are stepping in faith. Your yellow brick road, it is finding its path. And you are going to not get to the wizard because the wizard was awful. Everyone can agree on that now. But you are going to get to your imperial city. You're going to get to the place that brings you joy, happiness, prosperity, and abundance. So yes, it's going to be so good. Okay, so quintessential question. Did you ever think that this was going to be a bad idea?
Oh yeah. Yeah. When I decided to quit my job 2 years ago, or almost 2 years ago, I told my mom and she started crying. And she was like, what? Like, why are you doing that? Like, are you sure? Like, I told her I'm like gonna donate all my scrubs. And she was like, are you sure you don't want to keep that? Like, just in case. And like, I had the confidence, but hearing that from your mom, you're like, wait, like, should I be doing this? And then like said, when I compare myself to other people, I get really down. I do get in like these depressed modes where I'm like, I don't want to go on Instagram. I don't want to see anything else because I'm just like, maybe this is not going to work out. Like, maybe I don't know what I'm doing, maybe I should just like take the safe route, go back to healthcare, do something, stable. But no, I'm not going through it.
You're not going to, because this is your path. This is your path. This is your journey.
I do with my sister. Like, it's so hard, but it's so worth it. And I always encourage anyone that I meet that is interested in like the entrepreneurship journey. I always encourage them. I'm like, do it.
Do it. Do it.
It's hard.
Do it.
It just do it.
That is awesome. So where do you see yourself in like a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now?
So just bought a food trailer. A couple months ago, so we just dropped that news. So we are in the work of like getting it renovated and fixing it up. So that's where I see us in the next year or so. Just taking that thing around town, around the DMV, and like just selling our cinnamon rolls and our stuff. Just getting our name out there. That's what I see first. So that's always been my goal. I've always wanted to get a food truck or a food trailer. So for it to be here is like super exciting. So I'm putting all our efforts into that for the next year. And then in 5 years, oh girl, I don't even know. I don't know. I'm just trying to get through the next year.
And you know what? That is fair. That is fair. How dare I ask about 5 years?
I'm gonna do it tomorrow.
Right. That was an inappropriate question. I take it back. A year or two. That's as far as we need to go.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe people always say, like, do you want a storefront? And I always say, no, no, no. And they're like, no, I think you're going to change your mind. So I don't know. We'll see. Maybe.
You just have to walk in the world with curiosity and be open to all the abundance that is coming your way. And then you will figure it out.
I will.
You will figure it out.
I never thought I would do this to begin with. So
your mom must have did your sister also commit full time to this endeavor?
Recently, yes.
So your mom must be like freaking out, like just sitting there shaking, like, it's going to be okay. My daughters are chasing their dream. It's going to be okay.
She's way more supportive now.
Okay.
She was like 2 years ago when
I
decided to quit my job. So she's really sweet. She's always trying to help us and stuff, but she's a mom. She's
a mom and she just wants us to be okay. And this is taking a bet on ourselves, right? This is something that's different, and it's not a traditional path that our parents would have ever thought to do, right?
Moms, they're like, you're going to be a nurse, you're going to be a doctor, you're going to be a lawyer, like mostly nursing, but yeah, like some. But
those are the options. Yeah. Like, can you, what if I want to do, no. Those, or a teacher, like, okay, maybe you can be a teacher, but there are only really like 4 possible career paths. Yes, and entrepreneurship is not one of those. It's too risky. And it's founded. Our parents worked very hard to get where they are and provide us the lives that they did. So I get it, but it is scary. Yeah. Oh, Marin, thank you so much for coming and joining me and sharing this little bit of yourself with us.
Yeah, of course. Anytime. Thank you for doing this. Congratulations on your podcast.
Thank you. Yes, please go ahead and give us all your tags and handles.
Yeah. Instagram and Facebook is at Matelna Bakes, and then our website is matelnabakes.com.
Excellent. So follow all of us, follow all the things by Baked Goods, because Baked Goods bring joy. All right. Thank you all. Thank you.
What is your...
Thank you for listening to bonus episode number 2. If you liked what you heard, please follow, like, and leave a review to help other listeners find this podcast. Thank you. Bye.